One Murphy bed in one of the offices today. We're going to go down to 59 probably Thursday and put the other 4 up down there. Continued QA and QI. We also doing online training through Premier Health. Plus, I have continuing education I do through CD Solutions, so I've been sending it out to the group so they can get their continuing education. Because right now everything is shut down. You either do it online or you don't get any continuing education. Fire training, we've opened it up a little bit. We started with swift water, since we've had a couple incidents here in town with a lot of water. We had the car out in the middle of the field and a few others. So we decided to do some swift water training with Moraine and Trotwood. They have the equipment, they just don't have the people, so we're going to try to put our people through the training so if we do have an incident, we can support them, or if we have an incident, they can help us, support us as well. They're also working on fireground operations and hand line and ladder deployments, vehicle maintenance. The 2 medics have been sent to Texas for remounting. I'd like to take Tracy for all her help getting now completed. Put a new alternator on the old staff car. Also, we put new brakes on the medic out here this weekend. I have a kid that works for us, the diesel mechanic. He put on new brakes. We lost the cotter pin fell out. We don't know where or how it did. We had to go find the cotter pin, and we were able to get it back in service. No quartermaster reports. IT, we've been doing a lot of, because of all of our, we had new computers and a few other things here, so we've been working on getting that up. They were here today. We finally figured out why the internet is so slow here. We had to replace a 24-port switch, so now we're up to the 300 to 400 speed that we paid for through Spectrum. Worked down a lot of bills with Mr. Wolf, and I do have a couple of issues with Buckeye. Ryan was here today, so I talked to him about that some more, so he'll be taking care of that for us. No fire prevention issues. Grants, we're still in the running for our FEMA grant. We only had one fire public records request, and that was through the Dayton, Greater Dayton Premier Management of our house fire we had on Vanguard, because I guess apparently there's a Section 8 homing that they're using, people that live there, so I needed to get them the report so they knew what happened. And I gave you some of the samples of some of the pictures of what we've done to some of our offices and the dorms that we have now, where they're not sleeping out on the bay floor, with diesel exhaust coming into where they're sleeping. And we made it where it's a little bit better living quarters for our personnel. The only thing I had left to ask was about getting the furniture for them in the day room. I brought that up in the work session, and I'll leave that up to you guys. I think they do need to do something. We need to do something for their day room. All they've ever had is hand-me-down stuff here. I think it's something we need to take care of in the process while we're cleaning up the whole building and getting it all straightened out. And that's the end of my report.
You need to do approval on it tonight?
If you guys are okay with me, the expenditures,
Okay,
it won't be a credit card, it'll be a PO. They do PO because it's firemen that build this stuff.
I'm willing to allow you to do that. The 3 trustees?
I'm good with that.
Jim?
I'm just not comfortable with that. We're decorating our offices instead of getting fire equipment.
So, but it
So on the
passes,
vote.
so it passes with 2 votes. Proceed. What, Tracy?
Aren't you supposed to take a vote though? Did you vote?
Okay, so let's take a vote on that. Tracy, please.
No, go ahead, if you can, go ahead and do the regular.
Okay,
Motion.
we'll take a vote on that. All in favor, aye. Aye.
Aye.
All against?
Nay.
Nay. Okay, so 2 against 1.
Thank you.
Okay, lots. Next on the department reports, code enforcement, Mr. Tony McKee.
Good evening, everybody.
Good
Evening.
This covers probably the last month because the meetings have not been really regular, but 24 total inspections and 9 new violations out of that. But that doesn't include the 80 re-inspects that I did on the high grass to make sure they were still high, which went pretty quickly because they were all still high. Then update on the Infirmary Road project, all that down through there. The grass will be cut, but he has until June 30th to get the junk cars out of there, which we all know that's not going to happen. And then sometimes in July, he should be sent to court, depending on if the court's taking those cases or not. But that's it. I filled out all the high grass and weed reports, so everything's ready to start cutting. We're going to start cutting tomorrow. Worked on identifying the township-owned properties. That's kind of taken a while because I was telling Tracy earlier that one property I found on Liscum is in the middle of the VA, so it's like that's just old records that need gone through and updated. I finished the residential beautification award flyers, and it's posted on the website. You guys all have a copy of the flyer that went out. And it's pretty self-explanatory. It just says if there's a property in Jefferson Township that has kind of went above and beyond the norm, looks nice, planted shrubs, flowers, some nice landscaping. Anybody in the township can donate, or not donate, but nominate this person. I'm accepting nominations until July 31st. And then Mr. Wolf and I have discussed about some type of an award, maybe a sign in the front yard that says they won the beautification award. It's just kind of a thing to maybe help the property values a little bit, give everybody a little incentive maybe to make the property look nice. On the back here, there's a form that if you guys know somebody or you want to fill it out, if you're driving the township, see somebody, you want to jot it down. Otherwise, it can give me a call, excuse me, or on the website, because this is also posted on the Jefferson Township webpage. And that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Tony.
Question.
Questions?
But, Tony, I know that the Y, I call it the Y, on Dayton Liberty Road.
Yes.
I know that's not our property, but who do we call? There's been semis parked, they hide behind those high trees. And then also the point, the semis parked in there, they sit there for several days, just like rest area.
The point is ours.
Right.
The Y is City of Dayton, so it would have to be the City of Dayton who would have to take care of that.
But they said nobody would know it unless you come down that street a lot, but they hide behind those high shrubs. But you can see that several times I've gone down there at the point and just a semi's parked there like a rest area, and they're there for several days.
I seen one there one day last week and then it was gone, so
It was there for several days.
Okay.
It just happened that you probably just.
I
saw
seen it the
one.
day before it left.
Right.
But yeah, we can,
I mean, is there any way that we can like put something there they're not supposed to do that, or we do have?
yeah, we would hold the property owner responsible is who would, but yeah, I can look into that, talk to John.
We had looked at that one a couple times because they were dumping pretty heavily out in the back, and that's another one that kind of falls into the school of unknocks type of category where it's got X amount of liens and 15 people attached to it, so we were never able to get to the actual holder of the bag. So
On the point, nobody's on enough for that either.
what's that?
The one at the point, I call it the point, Germantown and Dayton Liberty.
Yeah, the
That has a
wire.
lot of liens on it too.
Yeah, that was going through foreclosure and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I just posted it for high grass, so that will be cut too.
It was cut today.
Yeah, it was
The
cut.
point's completely cut. We have trouble with the house right behind it, Andy. And I
That's
don't
what I
know,
was
your
gonna
environmental
say.
crimes, I know they helped us try to catch people, but if you get your camera purchased, can we get one on that driveway at that little house behind?
We'll have several deploy, so we'll sit down together when they arrive and we'll designate what the hot spots are gonna be for the first go round, and we'll get them out there.
That'd be great. Thank you.
So road department's next. Steve,
please.
Trustees, fiscal officer, and residents tonight, you all have copies of my report for the road as well as for my next one, which is administration. Copies are on the table for anyone to take. We're running late this evening, so I'm not going to go through too much, but I'm going to explain a couple highlights. Number one, we've started the draft of our first road operations manual. Not a single township in the Dayton, Montgomery County area has a so-called manual, at least the small ones more than any. So we're going to ebb and flow this. So we started out with your new employees during an orientation last Thursday, and we presented these manuals to the employees. And it's part of the uniform issuance, so they'll have to give their binder back when they leave. So we've got that started. We did hold the orientation last Thursday. Adrian Jones helped tremendously to get the thing ready. She's ultimately one of the people that created this whole visual book. But we spent the entire day going through township handbook, procedures, all the HR things, and then we got into actual operations about what the road department should be doing and looking at how we cut nuisance properties the right way, and that we're going to be attempting to mow the cemetery and the parks every week. Not every other week, not every 3 weeks. It's going to be every week. So they got, in the last 2 days, they got the point cut, they got the cemetery, all 3 of them cut. They've cut both parks, and now they're in the process of going to the right-of-ways in just 2 days. So your new staff. The second thing is, one of the things that we knew was a problem, and I think last fall, Mr. Mann and I, last winter, we went down to the road garage and realized that it's not a very clean environment to have lunch or fill out paperwork because the ceilings leak. No matter, they try to patch it and the ceilings are leaking again. So we pay utilities on Kimmel Road, Kimmel Lane, the old fire station at 62, and it's just sitting there with some storage in it, a couple vehicles. So we are now transforming Kimmel Road into the road office, where they will go to work every day, put their finger into the future machine that we'll have, retrieve their email assignment for the day, and then send back any documents, including pictures, at the end of the day. And so the staff, including Tony, started cleaning the place out. And they've got the refrigerator running again, they have the air conditioning running again, and they're going to be changing out equipment from time to time based on what they need up in those neighborhoods to work on, and then moving what doesn't work in that area down to the road garage. So their reports and their vehicles are going to be at Kimmel when they're working a regular work day. That will help presence around that building. Just give you an example. 2 weeks ago, we pulled in the parking lot and some resident had cut off fresh green tree limbs, and I'm talking about a pile of them about that tall, and dumped them right behind the fire station. That's because we're not there. So that's going to be one of the things that the residents are going to see. They're still going to work out of the road garage for most of their tools, their heavy equipment, but their office will now be at Kimmel. The next thing is they did cut trees down and then mowed the lot at Derby and Kimmel. That's the land bank property that you trustees are acquiring, and the land bank is no longer mowing anything that they're deeding away or getting the deed for you. So if you drive by there, it's going to be, it was really tall. They cut it all down. They're going to go back and treat it like their front yard probably next week. So that will be cut on a regular basis because that's a big image property as people go into the Blairwood neighborhood. So that being said, there's been a lot going on. You're going to have new faces, plus I meet Thursday or Friday with the contract company that you guys hired, J&A Construction, and he's going to give us a final start date of when he's going to start these road projects that you voted to do, spend a little bit over $100,000 to do spot repairs in the entire township, spread across the entire township. So in addition to what they're going to be starting, you're also going to have your road department doing pothole patching and other repairs right behind them or in other neighborhoods that we know that we haven't deployed J&A. We have a lot of problems out there. You guys know it. You drive across them, but they didn't get there overnight. They happened over years. And we're just gotta chip at this thing one piece at a time. So that's the end of my road report, unless you guys have any questions.
Now that we're fully staffed, are we in a position to go back after that Lutheran church property that we were going to do a massive cleanup on?
Tony, we can do that, right?
Yeah, Steve and I discussed it recently, and all the notices, all the legal process has been issued. I think now it's a matter of getting a hold of this guy's attorney and saying, hey, we realize that we've put this off, the tornado hit, for whatever reason it didn't get taken care of. We just need to give them a drop dead date that we're gonna be there and we're gonna clean it up. Now, whether we do a contractor cleanup or we do it ourselves, I have not seen the property of all that's back there. So that's just a matter of deciding who's gonna do it. If we're gonna do it, it's gonna take some equipment and some time. And some manpower.
That resident that's been the point person on the complaints for that, she's been pretty diligent with the trustees to get action, and I think we owe that to her.
I agree.
We'll have a report of progress at the next meeting. So as I said before, I have my administrator report in front of you. It's very long, so I don't want to go, talk about everything. Only thing I ask for you trustees to help us before July 1, if that's the date that we're able. I had asked and sent an email to all of you asking you to put input together about things like the lock on the chain link fence for the gate, the mailbox, which Tracy went and bought one. We just want to make sure it goes in the right place. A sneeze guard on the glass window, because Adrian is exposed to the people that are coming in, and that's part of a building code or policy like Chief was following here. So please go back and review your email. If you didn't get it or can't find it, I'll send it to you again. But we need those answers about those things. Do you want letter boards on the walls so when the residents walk in, they understand that they don't go to the telephone and use it for the fair board. They come to our window, because it is a big building. Those are the key things before, anything else can be bought. And then from there, bigger plans of what you want to do at the front sign, and that's down the road. So I ask you, that's our immediate need, and I ask you to readdress that together as trustees. Individually send your ideas, and I'm sure we can implement whatever you want. That's all I have.
Thank you. We have no paperwork for comments by citizens. So next is trustees' comments and reports. President, I have no comment. Jim McGuire, you're next.
No reports on that.
Warren Mann.
Chief, a couple questions.
Good.
Let's say one of your guys tests the virus. What happens? Can you tell us what happens at that time?
Well, when we transport somebody to the hospital, we usually get it takes a couple days. Well, there for a while it was 8 days. Now it's a couple of days. They'll contact us, and then if that person is not, well, we had 2 people here were exposed, transported somebody, but they did the proper precautions of wearing the stuff like they're supposed to, and they were asymptomatic. They were just told to watch their temperature for the next couple of days, and if they started to get anything, then they would have to follow up with the hospital, with their doctor. You still can't get a test without getting a doctor to give you the written prescription to get the test. We did have one of our own test positive here from a family member. He left here that shift morning, took that night, went to work that next day, took his father to the hospital. His father tested positive for COVID. He was tested a few days later by the public health pushed it to get him tested because he didn't have any symptoms. He still has no symptoms, and they finally tested him. He was tested positive. They let him go for 14 days with no symptoms, and he was able to return back to work. So as long as you don't show any signs and symptoms, they won't test you.
So currently, we don't have anyone.
No, we're good. Everybody's still keeping the precautions. We're still disinfecting everything as we go.
Thank you.
And we're wearing, as we transport patients, dispatch is asking questions, they'll tell you if they're COVID or not, or possibility. And then, that just reminds you to make sure you wear your mask and stuff like that when you take a patient to the hospital. But so far, we haven't had a positive patient, I'm probably gonna jinx myself, in a couple of weeks. So we've been pretty good.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We were adjourned at 9:03.
Steve, did you happen to find a John Deere mask after meeting or no? Yeah.
You bought any, Chief? What's that?
A John Deere
John
mask?
Deere mask.
I've misplaced a John Deere
No,
mask.
I got fired, whoever,
Looks like this.
nobody's mentioned it.
Looks like this.
Nobody's bigger shot.
I mean, I'm in all the except for the one special meeting.
And this is business,
I don't know
so
if
you're
that
like
was,
behind
is that right after you asked?
Yeah.
You never called it.
Well, no, that's okay, because then I'll just,